Welcome to another week of HOA Business Branding, the book HOA. We're working a little more on fleshing out the content of the book that Jen and I are writing. And we love your comments, love your feedback. Of course, all of that will end up in the book as we transcribe this and edit this and polish all of this. You know what? I think this is a perfect time to actually bring up something Jen was talking about in the green room. I think Jen was planning on talking about this a little bit later, but Jen is the motivating factor behind me writing my first book. This has been a goal of mine for a long time, and Jen has written a number of books, all of which have ended up on the Amazon bestseller list. Some of them have been #1 Amazon best-selling books, including her most recent book has already gotten there. And she's just got another book coming out. Like, is it live right now, Jen? Can they buy it?
It's supposed to be. Yes, it is live right now. So, yes, it is live right now. You can buy it.
All right, so that's 2 books this month, by the way, guys.
That's right. Well, this book I have actually been writing since the fall, and I co-authored it with Everett O'Keefe, who is also a marketing expert. And we've put it together, and it's finally come together. We're super excited for launching it today. And it is called Books to Bucks, the top 20 ways to make money on your book, even if you haven't written it yet. That's the title. So if you want to go get it, it's on Amazon. You can just search my name, Jen Foster, author. You want to type in author because there is also a music artist named Jen Foster. Or you can type in Books to Bucks, and that should bring it up as well. Or you can also visit book, without the S, book2bucks.com, and you can buy it there as well. And if you go to book2bucks.com, you'll also get a bonus, and we're going to be sending out a flow chart on publishing profits, on pretty much summarizing what the book is in a flow chart and an infographic. So
pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. So
I'm excited. It'll be a good day.
I'm excited too, and I'm excited because I'm learning the same stuff that's probably in that book firsthand as Jen walks me through this process for the first time. What's funny is I already have another friend of ours, Jen, somebody that you know, has come to me and said, okay, this thing you're doing is so cool, and he and I have done a number of HOAs together previously, so he wants me to co-author a book with him about SEO and Google+. Combining those two, and the guy that's co-authoring this book with me, as soon as you and I are done, Mitch Nelson from Biz Ingenuity. So that's going to be a fun book, and you just got me on fire, Jen, on fire.
Yay. I'm glad I motivated you. A lot of people have motivated me to write books, and I'm just really happy that I took the plunge. It's been really fun.
Yeah. All right, so today we're going to continue talking about some basics of HOAs, and to recap what we've covered so far, we talked about what an HOA is, the power of Google+, the power of YouTube integration, some of the tools that you can use to manage your Google+, including CircleScope, CircleCount, and Nodex. Then we talked about some of the tools that are internal within the HOA for managing the HOA. Now we're going to talk about what I call the bad apps. These are the apps that I'm not crazy about, and there's a couple of reasons why I'm not crazy about them. Basically, it all comes down to the same thing. Let me, you know, I should have prepared for this a little bit more, but let me show you what it is that I'm talking about with a little bit of screen sharing here. Okay, so what it is that I don't like about these particular apps is they change how all of this down here happens. They hide all of the comment interaction, which is some of the most valuable stuff that comes out of doing a Hangout on Air, and that results in people not being able to engage the way that they like to engage with the event. Let's go through the steps of actually setting up an event, and that way we can walk you through how to turn on and off these bad apps. I know that's not what we planned, Jen, but I think it's going to be important. So,
okay.
When you want to start a Hangout, you're going to come here. Let's just pretend you're at your stream. That's where you're going to come in normally. So you come into Google Plus, and this is where you're at, is your home stream, if mine ever loads. There you go. And you got all the things that people have shared and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And you come in here, and over on your left-hand side, you've got the drop-down menu. And you come down here to the word Hangouts, and you click on that.
Okay.
This is how you set up your Hangout event for the first time. It gets a little different when you set it up for future events. Then you come in here to Hangouts on Air, and you click on that one right in the center up at the top.
Okay.
And then you do something that seems counterintuitive. What happens is you've got a list of all the Hangouts on Air that are live currently. Oh, look. Surprise, surprise, there's ours. Okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to click on Start a Hangout on Air. I know that that's always seemed confusing to me because what it seems to be saying is you're going to start it right now. That's not what it's saying. But anyway, so you click on that Start, and it brings this up. And you have to give it a title, Demo for Creating. Okay, that's what we're going to call it. Oh, this is supposed to be a capital C. Okay, and then you'd put in your description right here. I'm not going to go into descriptions right now, but I do think, Jen, that we should probably have a section on talking about some of the key points, things that you want to put in your description, and the graphics. So we'll probably do that in a couple of upcoming episodes, maybe next week.
Okay. Yeah.
Then you're either going to start it now or you're going to start it later. Of course, we're going to start this later. And let's just say that we're going to start it for next week's show, and then I'll go in and I'll edit this thing and make it next week's show. 11:32. I started at the wrong time this week, so we're going to start it at the right time. You put in the amount of time. It's going to be 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's how long the show is supposed to be.
And we'll remind everyone, Dennis starts his Hangouts at 11:32 because his last name is DUCE, so everything starts or ends in 2.
Yes, everything I do, including all of my pricing. So if you buy something from me, it'll have $2 as the last amount. Thanks for pointing that out, Jen.
Yeah, well, for those who are here for the first time, if they didn't watch episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, I just, goofy branding. Let's call it goofy branding.
I love it.
Okay.
Signature branding.
Signature branding. I was born with this branding. Okay, so.
Yeah.
I cracked myself up. All right. So then you've got to decide, do you want a public audience or a private audience? Depends on what you're doing here, okay? If you want a public audience, if you're trying to do an HOA like this one where you're trying to get lots of comments and interaction from the audience, then you're going to make it a public event. If what you're trying to do is to create something private, you may want to share later, you don't want the whole world to see what you're doing, then you can click this off and you can put in somebody's name. Let's say you're working on something backstage with Jen in the planning of this thing, and I want it to be saved so I can review what happens and I can record it, then I would just put Jen Foster in there. Now Jen can see it and I can see it and nobody else can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And the YouTube video is made unlisted until you change it to something else. So again, nobody can see it unless you share the link with them.
Right.
Now, this particular one we're wanting to do public.
Mm-hmm.
And one key thing, we talked about Comment Tracker last week. Comment Tracker will not work unless you share public on the very first share. So just a key point on Comment Tracker there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're planning on using that tool, you have got to share public. Then you just click share right here, okay? Now, depending on what you've done in the past, how many HOAs, how you've set them up, these 3 apps right down here, Q&A app, Showcase app, and Applause app, will either be on or off. If you've turned them off in the past a certain number of times, and I'm not certain how many times that is, then they will stay off. Okay, and that is how I have done this. You know what? I am going to change a setting here so you guys can see my screen a little bit better. What I'm doing, just for the record, is I'm turning cameraman on. We worked on this last week. Now you don't see the film strip, so Jen is disappeared, and all you guys are seeing now is my screen, which means you see that in a bigger image. That'll help you with this small text. Okay, so if you turn these, they most likely will be on if this is the first time you're doing an HOA, and I highly recommend you turn all of these off. And the reason is, again, they change the way that your event shows, how people see it, what they see. It hides the comments. So in the case of question and answer, it's similar to, question and answer does something similar to what the regular comment feature and comment tracker does. It allows people to post questions, and those questions are seen by the host and the other people in the film strip, and they're able to read those off and share them on screen. It has one other feature that's kind of cool, and again, if this app will simply move over to the right-hand side, what I'd like to see with all of these apps is that they're over here and that this commenting section remains untouched. And I don't understand why they're not that way. But the nice thing about this app, and it may be that even though I call it a bad app, you might think it's a good app depending on what you're doing. People are able to thumbs up the questions that are asked. What this does is it makes them float higher to the top. So a question that has lots of interaction is going to be higher up for the host, and the host is going to see that earlier on. That's a neat feature because that way the audience is sourcing what those questions are. The problem is that if what you're doing is running an HOA for the purpose of trying to get yourself found, these don't have social signals to them in the same way that the standard comments within the event do. And so, and they tend to reduce engagement, especially with those who are regularly watching HOAs. If what you're trying to do is use an HOA to, you've been doing standard webinars or video webinars in the past, and you want to use the HOA platform, you may find that you like this feature because your audience this may seem a little bit more normal to them. But if you're trying to attract and engage with the Google Plus community and get the massive comments and engagement that can happen from that, the question and answer app is not the tool for you. So, do you have any questions, Jen, on that so far?
I don't. I think it's good. No, I think it was good.
Okay.
That's how you start a Google Hangout.
That's how you start a Google Hangout. So we got 2 more bad apps that we're going to touch on. Anyone in the audience, if you guys have questions, please ask us. And, roll call. Let's see who is out there. I can see that there are some people out there, but I can't see who until you guys comment in the stream. So love to see who's watching us right now. Love to see if you have any comments. Have you had negative or positive feelings towards question and answer? I know if Chandra Higgins is watching, she loves this app. So everybody has their different opinion. I just think these are going to reduce your engagement. And that's why I do this, is for the engagement, because the engagement is the social signals. The social signals are the things that make you get found in today's world. They're more important than backlinks of 2009. So you want that engagement. Okay, so screen share again. All right, so the next one is Showcase app. And what Showcase app does is it allows you to share links live with your audience. So we would be able to put in a link. When Jenn was talking earlier about her book, we would have been able to use Showcase app to put in a link for you to go to her book and buy it right away. Again,
Right.
if you are doing something where you're trying to basically do a QVC show, you're trying to move a lot of product for some reason, then the Showcase app would be a great tool for you to put in your codes to where you buy things. And even though I don't like this app, I am actually working with a client on potentially doing a QVC type show. If that ends up happening, I will be using the Showcase app because it allows for these instantaneous links, but it does make it so that if people want to engage with the show in the way they've been used to engaging with the show, they're going to have the show open in two windows. One would be showing the Showcase app, and one would be showing the comment stream. And that can be frustrating for your audience. So depends on what you're trying to do. But again, if I'm trying to sell a lot of product, I probably am not trying to get as much engagement. I just want to sell product, and that's different. All right, and we got Thomas Grant out there. Glad you woke up in time. Thomas, where are you at that you're asleep right now? Because, man, it's 11:20 where I'm at here in Utah. So either you work graveyard or you're on the other side of the world. So.
Right.
Oh, Thomas, we already met you, Thomas. You are in Australia. We know that.
That's right. He is on the other side of the world.
He is on the other side of the world, and I owe you an answer to a question, and I can't even remember what it is. If you remember the question that I didn't answer for you, Thomas, ask it right now. Maybe I can take care of it during the show. Okay, the last one here is the Applause app. This is kind of a cool app in a number of different ways. When you turn on the Applause app, oh, that's interesting. It's actually showing is on. We want to turn it off. Okay. If you turn on the Applause app, what it does is it lets people hit a little button and say they really like this moment in time within the show. And then it tags that with timestamps. So you can go back after as the host and you can see what people really liked and what they didn't like. Again, all of these are really cool. They have really cool features. And the stuff they do is really cool. And if they would please put them on the right-hand side, I would turn on every last one of them because they do cool things. But they don't. And since they don't do cool things, or since they don't hang in the right-hand side, they change the entire dynamic of what the guest sees. They just reduce engagement. So that's a cover on the bad apps. Do we want to continue moving through some of the other things that...
Yeah, I think we should start with some setup, and then let's talk about, at the end of the setup, we're going to be talking about promotion, and we can also cover some more of just the branding, the business branding, or why you would even want to do a Hangout, you know?
Okay. So let's just go through some of the steps that I go through. Before I actually set this up, like I have, I would normally actually have done something else. I would have gone out and I would have created the blog post that I was going to embed the video on. And then, while I'm setting up the event, in the description section, you may remember, I would have put in my description before I saved it for the first time, and I would have put in that link to the blog post.
Right.
And the reason I do that is because Google will then crawl that post right away and index that page, and that can be really helpful from an SEO standpoint. So, and it gets it indexed the way it's first written, and then you make some changes, and it keeps updating, and that just shows Google that you're active and you're making changes. So that's one thing that I would normally do a little bit different. Once I've set up my event, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my banner image. Let me show you how you do that. You come here to Edit Event up at the top, okay? And then you go to right here, Change Theme.
Here, show your screen again.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a good thing you're here, Jen. Okay, right up here, Edit Event. You click on that, and that brings up the Edit Hangout on Air feature. And then you go right here to Change Theme. Okay, you click on that, and it has a whole bunch of preset themes, but then you can upload your image. Okay, and so you come in here, you go into, let's put the one for this show. You've got them saved wherever you've got them saved, but this image is 1200 by 300.
Okay. And that's pixels.
That's pixels. Okay. So it's a long, narrow banner image. And next week I'll set up so that I can show you an easy way to create these. If you are like me, do not have Photoshop, we'll go through, I'll give you a template next week on some things that I think are key ideas to creating that banner image, and we'll go through an easy way to use free tools to create these banner images. They may not be as professional as, say, Dustin Stout would create, who actually created the cover image for our book, but they're going to get you by, and you don't have to pay somebody to do it, which is nice.
Awesome.
So that's how you put up your banner image, and that then changes the whole layout of this and gives you that banner image across the top here. It also means that when you are looking at your events, it looks like, let me show you all the events that I've been invited to, and you'll see the importance of this banner image, because it's the most important thing you see. When you're looking at events that you've been invited to, it's the banner image that you see. And one thing I like to do from time to time is come in here and just scroll through these fairly quickly and see whether or not my banner images are standing out to me or they're getting buried in the fray of everything else. And you know, you can look at this. I mean, here, the Skywire one here is absolutely beautiful, and clearly that has been done by somebody who really knows their way around Photoshop. That thing is gorgeous, and it does stand out because it's gorgeous, but it doesn't stand out any more than this simple one with the use of bright colors and plenty of white space. So you can get the impact you want if you know, without having this kind of talent. This is some amazing talent. Every week I look at that Skywire one and I go, that thing's just gorgeous. All right. So let's get back to this event that we've been editing. Here we go. Oh, we got some comments. Okay, Tim Longwell says, I can see the benefit of the Q&A app for someone with the question promotion. I think it removes the connection of human to human and host to guest, becomes distinct and less personal to me. And that, I love that. I absolutely love that, Tim. You nailed that. Here, let me actually share that up. Oh, interesting. I can't share it. I wonder if that's because I'm in... There we go. I love what he said here. This is so totally true. It's that human-to-human, host-to-guest distinction that is so different from television and so real and so alive and so connected. And it gives you the ability to build your brand with people who really are excited about you and they've gotten to know you. So, yeah, great Tim, and fantastic artist Tim Longwell is. Love having him show up here. Thomas has a question. have a question on Hangouts. I did one that got flagged for some reason. This is the question you asked me, and my YouTube account has now a point against it. The live Hangouts have now been disabled. How do you avoid this? Okay, well, I don't know what exactly was done. There are a number of things that can cause it to be flagged. Playing other people's content, if you were to play music that you don't have rights to. Some of my shows, I play music in the opener to them if they're more long-term. This one's pretty short-term, so I haven't gone to the extra effort of creating an opener and a close and all those things. We just go live. But on some of my shows, like Network Roundtable on Fridays, I have a song that is part of that show, and that song I have rights to. It's a local Utah band called Bludgeon Muffin, and the song is a reggae-style song that's all about motivation, so it fits well with the theme of Network Roundtable. I have the rights to that. I never get flagged. If I were to get flagged, not a problem. I have a signed document from Bludgeon Muffin, and I can just provide that to Google, dispute it, and the whole problem goes away. So I don't know if you know what it was you were flagged for. Put that in the comments, and I can answer a little more in depth. But I did get flagged one time. I did a show where we were talking about the song "It's All About the Bass" by Meghan Trainor, and we played the song during the show. But it was a review of the song. I got flagged. There was no question I wasn't going to get flagged. I knew I was going to get flagged. I literally got off the show and just started checking my YouTube channel every 10 minutes until that flag came in, and it took about 15 minutes was all, and they had flagged me. I simply wrote back and I said, this was not me using her content. I was reviewing, and there is you are allowed to review content if you can play it if what you're doing is reviewing it. And we were reviewing how it had taken off so huge back in the fall. Here's this girl who had no following. All of a sudden, she was in the top 40 charts off of a YouTube video, and she barely even, I mean, she had a producer, but it wasn't like a massive production company. It was groundswell, and we were really analyzing how that groundswell had happened. And so, and I put in some, very specific links to my response saying, go to this point in the video, go to this point in the video, go to this point in the video, and you can see what we were doing. And it was taken down within another 10 minutes, and I didn't end up with a flag against me on that one. So you can challenge them so long as you've kept your nose clean in advance, but you do have to be careful in what you're doing, and you have to be vigilant. If you do get flagged, find a way to get around it, even if that means you take the video down and say, I'm sorry, because what you don't want to do is have that flag on your YouTube channel if you can at all help it.
Right.
Now, you being a YouTube expert, this is not far off from your area of expertise. Do you have any things to add to that, Jen?
Yeah, I've gotten flagged a couple times on videos when, like you said, the music is copyrighted, and sometimes they'll just say, okay, we have put the music rights onto your video. Like sometimes you'll see if you do use a song like All About the Bass or something on a regular YouTube video, they'll tag it, and then if you click, you can buy the song or whatever. So so YouTube will do that, and then other times they'll flag it. I had a couple accounts where someone had the rights to resell a product, and so we made videos about selling this product. And when the product got super excitement, and all these people knew about it. I mean, we had videos on there for over 6 months, and then all of a sudden that product went viral, and everyone was buying that product, and they flagged all his videos and shut down the actual whole YouTube account. Because YouTube thought, hey, they don't have rights to sell this, even though they did because they were resellers and they had permission from the owners of the product. But YouTube didn't know that, and they flagged them. And there's nothing you can do. You just move on and learn from your mistake, I guess. That's pretty much all you can do. So, because Google and Yahoo, they just don't want you to put content out there that isn't yours, and if they are suspicious that it is someone else's content, they're going to flag you or take you down or punish you. So you just have to be really careful with what you are posting and make sure that it's your content, or that, you know, if you are using other music, you know, there's a lot of royalty-free music you can find, or you can use, there's just a lot you can find out there. So
YouTube even has a whole bunch of royalty-free music. So if you create a video, you could create, so if you want an easy way to find royalty-free music is to create a video that isn't the video you're going to be putting up, put it up as unlisted, and then you can go in and you can look for other music that fits. Here, you know what, maybe I should just show you how you do this, since this is kind of a how-to thing here. Because a lot of people, for years, I was like, how on earth am I going to get royalty-free music? And you go to the royalty-free music sites, and it's still $15, and you know you have to jump through all these different hoops, and it's confusing. And I found that the easiest way to do this is right on YouTube. So let's go to my own channel, because I think that's just fairest, most fair. You come in, you're in your YouTube channel. You can tell what YouTube channel you're in by your image in this upper right hand corner if you have multiple that you're managing. And then you go to my channel right here on the left hand side. And then you go to your videos. So you could just upload a video that, you know, the final video that you want the music on. You may not want it loud all the way through, but you know that video is going to be 5 minutes long, okay? So you create that video here. This is a good one because it's fairly short. And this is an opener for a show. Now, it's got music already that I like, but I could go in here, and right here you've got the audio thing. You click on that when you're in the video in your own channel, and it gives you this list right here of videos, or of songs that you could use, okay? And this is actually how I got the music that I did exactly this to get the music for this video. And so you go in and you select the song that you want by playing different ones, and you can run searches for different things, and you can change up here from, you know, the type of music you want, and got all sorts of features. Once you finally got it the way you want it, you save it. Okay, we're not going to save. We're just going to revert to original. Oh, wait. Oh, well. Let's just back out of here. I don't want to make any edits right now. So now, in order to get that music so that you can use it in the background and talk over it, because the music is the right length for your video now, it's all the way you want it. So you come in here and you go to Video Manager on the right hand side here. Click on Video Manager, and that video will come up here in the Video Manager. You just find that same video. Where is it? Right here. And you've got a drop down menu right next to that thing. You just drop that down, and oh, why is it not letting me download it? That's weird. It won't let me download it.
It usually has a download feature right there.
Yeah.
Go to a different one that you have. Yeah,
download
there's
MP4.
that one. Yep.
So you just download that from the MP4, and then you've got that music so that you can use it in your editing process to, you know, change up the video. So that's, you know, one way of getting the music using YouTube as the tool to do it. There are websites, but even the royalty-free stuff, you are going to be paying something for it usually. And then you have all sorts of hoops you have to jump through. Anything that's here on the YouTube is open license, so you can use it however you want. You don't need to necessarily name the people or anything else. It's just there. So, all right, well, that was a tangent.
Well, that's good, though. Now people can understand how you can get the royalty-free music and how so you don't get your stuff flagged if you are using music in your videos or in your Hangouts.
Yeah. Okay, so Leslie, we both know Leslie Wagstaff Wilson. This is actually how we got to know each other. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Leslie, for hanging out with us today. Leslie asked the question, couldn't you have just let them know that you had permission and get reinstated? And that was my question as well with that one client you were talking about. But the question would be, I think the further question would be, did you actually have a signed solid contract like I have with Bludgeon Muffin?
Right.
Or was it a handshake deal?
Right. And if it is a signed contract, I'm sure if you provide that to YouTube or ask support, they're going to put your stuff back on. So
yeah,
they just need proof.
They just need proof. And in today's day and age, so often, especially with a startup company, like the example that Jen gave, before something goes viral, someone, yeah, go sell it, do whatever you want, I don't care, and then all of a sudden they're making a ton of money, and their attorneys come in and go, not so much, that's not going to work for us, and you may not. So make certain if you're going to try something like this that you do get paperwork.
Right.
So, Thomas says, I make all my Hangouts age restricted now and block all comments. Seems to be working better. Okay. All right. So that's making sense to me now, because you could get blocked for basically, if you are open forum, you've got to pretty much live by a PG-13 standard. So, no F-bombs, no sexual innuendos, those kinds of things. And if they get reported, YouTube will look into them, and that can get you flagged. So that may be, and you don't have to have an outrageously off-the-rails show to do something that isn't PG-13 and create a simple problem for yourself. So if that is a possibility, that's a great solution, Thomas, is to do that. None of my shows require that, but I have been on shows that it was a good thing that they were doing it. Mm-hmm. So, depends. Okay, here's another one from Leslie. Do you think it's better to leave comments or block them? Leave them. Leave them, leave them, leave them, leave them. You block a comment, you are asking for so much trouble you can't even see straight. In fact, not only do you not block them, answer them, and answer them as politely as possible.
Yes.
The problem is, if you block them or delete them, they're going to go find another forum. Mm-hmm. And they may own the forum. And there is going to be nothing stopping them from just tearing you apart. They're going to see it as an act of war, basically. So the best thing to do when you've got somebody who is commenting negatively is to, simply just answer it if you can, and definitely don't take them down. Jen, would you disagree with that?
No, I agree with that. I think that the more comments you have and the more you comment on those comments, that's going to help with all of the engagement, all the SEO, and that shows that you're a real, live, authentic, business person. You don't want to block people's comments, and if they're saying something inappropriate, call them out on it. Say, hey, and just be as polite as possible, and try and get a good conversation going.
Yes.
Whenever I don't know if you want to think of math or whatever, but whenever I think of negative, I think, okay, we've got to turn it back positive. So just you just got to make sure that you don't keep doing negative, because that's not going to work. You want to make sure that you have positive. So reinforce it by doing positive.
Correct. But definitely blocking or taking down the comment is about as negative an interaction as you would be. Far better to call them out and even be negative in your call out than you would to block it. That is the ultimate middle finger to the situation.
Right.
So, all right. And Leslie, I didn't ignore, I'm going to just show it. We've already covered this, but I don't want Leslie to think we ignored this. You can still keep the advantage of social interaction with comments by just making them monitored, right? And yes, you can, but what Jen and I are saying here is monitoring is not the best way to handle them. Simply engaging and leaving them up is the best way to handle them. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, I have, of the thousands and thousands of people that I follow, there are 2 right now that are blocked. Okay, I have blocked people because no matter how nice or polite I was able to be, I couldn't get them to engage in a non-adversarial manner, and I block them as being able to see any content I create. Okay, we got another question from Leslie. Boy, she's on one today. Those fingers are burning. How do you make your videos age restricted, and how do you monitor that online? Now, I know how to do a Hangout on Air as age restricted, but I'm not certain. In fact, I'm going to throw it back out to Thomas because Thomas has apparently made his HOAs age restricted. I don't know what happens over on YouTube because, Jen, do you know a way to make a video age restricted on YouTube?
You know, YouTube is very strict with what you can show and what you can't. YouTube wants to be a general audience thing. Yes. So I know that there is a way. I can go into my YouTube and see. You can say what is it, what age appropriate. I'm pretty sure it's in the settings, but in general, you want to keep it to, all age appropriate.
Yes.
But I do know, if you look at some of the music videos, they are, 18 and older type videos. So I know that it is available to do that. I think it's when you're posting it. When you're posting and uploading the video, I think that you can do that. Let me just double check really quick, and then if so, I'll share my screen and show you how to do that.
Okay.
I'll just select a random
video. You may need age appropriate because you're doing a political show. And,
yeah.
You think about someone. Maybe you're trying to do a Rush Limbaugh type thing. Well, Rush Limbaugh, quite honestly, is.
I've got it. Sorry.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, so let me share my screen. Can you share my screen? Or how does that work?
No, you have to.
I do it, that's right. So I go over to the left-hand side and click on the screen share.
The green arrow forward, yep.
And then I click on the one I want to screen share, which I think is this one. Okay, now you can see Dennis. Okay, so I'm going to click on my video. Can you see this, Dennis?
Yep.
Okay, so I just uploaded, I'm not going to publish this because I just uploaded a random video that I had made for a client yesterday. Okay, so right here, when you go to YouTube, you're going to click the upload button, and then you're going to select the video, which I did, and now it processed. So here's the basic information that you're going to be putting the title, the description, the tags, but this part right here, advanced settings, this is where you're going to do that. So underneath all of this stuff, it has at the very, very bottom age restrictions. Enable age restriction is going to click, and then that is going to be, it says right here, it prevents underage users from watching this video. This also removes the ability to monetize or promote your video through different ad formats, which means you can't make money on this video if you check that box, if you're doing the monetize feature. So that's where you do the age restriction, and I'll tell you, even if you do that, sometimes they are going to flag you. And just so you know, I did actually have another, just this last week, I had another client who they shut down their YouTube channel. And The reason why they did it is most likely because I didn't check that box, but I didn't feel like it was age inappropriate. The company sells pills. They sell male enhancement pills. So the videos were just pictures of couples and trying to get you to go to their website to buy the pills. But YouTube doesn't like that kind of stuff, right? So they don't want, YouTube wants general audience type things. So for me, I'm going to move my client over to a different video channel. So Daily Motion and MetaCafe both have less restrictions for videos. But you know, age appropriate is important, and if your Hangout on Air is more adult content, you're going to want to make sure that you find, you know, make sure you put that as you know, age appropriate and check that box. Yeah. And same with any videos that you're going to upload.
Yeah. So Leslie says, but it's just a warning. I don't see how it could actually be policed. It's online, and so how would you know how old the viewer is? And that's only based on if they're logged in.
Right. So to watch that YouTube channel, they would have to log in, and if that person is, so my kids have Gmail accounts, if it would not be shown to the kids. Yeah. You know, it would show that it would say blocked or can't be seen.
But you know, kids today could easily log in as their parents,
or they could create a fake one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you're right. It's not going to be policed, and that's part of the reason why, you know, even when you go and click that, YouTube is still going to be, you know, I mean, a hard R is not going to fly, and an NC-17, under no circumstances can you get that to stick. You need to go to Dailymotion or, you know, some of these other sites. So just be aware of your audience. Now, I do want to point out, Leslie, you train on how to get your website ready. So I hope you're not producing content that needs age restriction.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason for that. But Mark Freshy, I just want to point out, Mark just joined us. Mark is in the music industry. Morning to you too, Mark. Love you. And there is a good chance that Mark could be creating content that is going to pass that age restriction, and he may or may not want to check those, depending on, you know, what the lyrics are, or, you know, how the singers act, or, you know, those kinds of things. He may want to check that box. So it's all dependent on what it is that you're doing. But I can't see any reason, Leslie, why you would create any content that would have any reason to be age restricted.
Right.
Maybe you've got another business idea out there that we haven't talked about yet. So.
Never know.
Never know. Leslie always has something up her sleeve. So. Okay, so we've covered the bad apps, some of the how you create the event. I think next week let's get into. In fact, we've got down here bringing in guests. We need to bump that back. Next week, let's talk about the graphics, and let's talk about writing a description and those kinds of things. And we can finish what we started today in next week's show.
Okay.
And let's talk a little bit now about. And I have a feeling that the order of the book isn't going to be the same as the order of the HOA, Jen.
No, that's the great thing about doing an HOA and recording it like we are, and then we are going to be transcribing it and putting it all into our book. So the great thing about doing this is we're going to create all this great content, and then we're going to put it in our book in an organized fashion, like most books are, so that you can read it in the order that it should go, so that you can create your HOA in the way that it should be created, or in the right order. So that's the cool thing about, it's kind of like we're brainstorming out loud and brainstorming and writing our book out loud, and then we're putting it all, transcribing it and putting it all into our book. And of course it will be edited. It won't just be the transcriptions, and it will be you know, very, very easy to read and understand, very easy to understand, so that you can create your HOA and have the right steps and know what the do's and don'ts are.
Yeah, absolutely. So, quick reminder to you who are in the audience. We are going to finish. We got about 15 to 20 minutes more that we're going to be presenting today, and then we're actually going to invite all of you to come join us in the film strip here. We did this on the first week and the second week, and we're going to do it again today. You guys can come in here and give us your testimonials of the section of the book that you've just read, because this is the content that will be in the book. And the testimonials that are in the back of the book are going to be based on these little 10-minute sections at the end. So if you guys have something nice that you want to say, or if you want to say something not so nice, we'd take that too. We'll be putting in the stream the link to join right in here. So Mark, Thomas was here the first time. We'd love to have you back. Leslie, if you've got a few minutes. That'll be happening in about 15 minutes here. All right. So setting up for your Hangout on Air. Okay, so let me screen share again a little graphic, and I will post this same graphic right into the stream for you. This is a little graphic that shows you how to set up lighting for a Hangout on Air. Okay? You've got a series of lights that you should have in order to establish a good look for yourself here on your Hangout on Air. And this, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can buy, like just this last week for my studio right next door, I bought a full green screen that was like $110. Green screen frame, 3 lights, and you know, great system over there. The lighting that here in this office is all stuff that I got from Home Depot. I'll show you some of the lights here in just a second so that you can see what they look like, but they're nothing really very fancy. But they make a huge difference, as you will also see when I turn off the lights here in just a minute. So the most important lights, there's 3 lights that are really, in my opinion, the most important. It's the key light, the fill light, and the backlight. Okay? Your key light is the light that is coming in from your right-hand side. It's a spotlight. It's fairly bright, fairly strong. And on the opposite side, and that one's coming in at about a 45-degree angle to your face. The opposite side, and a little more open, you've got your fill light, which is going to be more diffused, less bright. And the reason for this is the face looks best when there's a little bit of definition from one side to the other. So if you've got a stronger light on one side of your face and not as strong a light on the other side of your face, the face doesn't look flat. It has dimension to it.
Great.
The next most important light is your backlight, which is shining up through the back of you and creates the highlights in your hair, gives you a separation from your backdrop. And then if you can afford a 4th light, a backdrop light, and the kit that I bought this last week actually does both the backlight and the backdrop light is one light, which is kind of cool. But the backdrop light takes from your from you shining back towards your back wall. And these two, what they do is they separate you from that wall, which gives you less of a flat look, and you just look a lot more, well, rounded and polished. So let me stop screen sharing and show you what I'm talking about. I've got my lights on right now. I've got over here my my key light. For fill light right now, because it's daylight, I've actually got a big window in front of me, and that's giving the softer fill light across my face right here. Then I've got a light that's actually attached to the back of my chair. You can see when I move, it actually, and that's my backdrop light. And then currently I don't have a backlight shining up through the back of my head because I just took it into the studio this morning, and so it's not here. So let me show you what happens, though, when I turn off these lights. It takes a second for things to adjust, and you can see I look a lot more flat. I kind of blend more in with the backdrop, and it just gives you a less professional look. I turn those lights back on, and you can see I'm more robust. I just look more like a human being and less like, I don't know. I don't even know what this looks like, but it just looks, it's fairly...
It looks dull.
It looks dull. I almost look like I'm sick. You know? So I've got a video out there on YouTube where I actually go through and I turn on and off each light. And I'll put the link to that video in here because it's really helpful. We'll make sure we have that link in the book too. And this graphic, of course, you can use that. But you should be able to get this kind of lighting for under $100, and it's absolutely worth every penny that you spend because it's going to massively improve your presentation.
Right. Do you want to critique me? So I'm just using natural lighting, and there's a lot of problems.
Yes.
So you can talk about
there are
it.
a lot of problems. So one thing, and it hasn't been a problem right now, or it hasn't been a problem so far, but because you're using natural light, you've got sunshine coming through your blinds. And I've been in the room and I've seen, and earlier it wasn't a problem, but right now, quite honestly, your breasts are getting highlighted.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's like,
I should get lower or try moving my blinds.
Now, that was interesting. Turn again to your right, just a little bit. You look so much better because the light is balanced on your face.
Right.
Okay, which is what we're trying to do by putting lights on us is balance. So she has too much light from her right-hand side.
Right, I've got a big window really close to me, and then I've got another window on the left all the way. And that window's blinds are open, and this window's blinds is shut.
But the one that's windows are open isn't giving you any light. So you can do the same thing I'm currently doing by just getting a single light on your left-hand side, right up here, shooting your face at a 45-degree angle. That would make a huge difference. And then put another light behind you, and that would cause some separation, which is, you know, you've got a green screen behind you.
Right.
Now, if you ever wanted to use that as an actual green screen, it would be imperative to separate yourself from that green screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so having that light behind you becomes really important. Otherwise, what happens is the hair, and especially with your light-colored hair, just starts to get weird and disappear into whatever image you're putting behind you.
Right.
So, yeah, you can see that that difference, and it makes a huge difference, and it's not a big expense. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, Mark, some comments now. Mark says, I'm in, getting the toothpick for the eyelids, but I would love to join you folks. Thanks for the invite. Mark works crazy, crazy hours, which is soon coming to an end for the guy, and we're all going to celebrate the day he goes out on his own. But yeah, that's why he's so tired. Looks like the backdrop light is facing away from the speaker, and that's correct. Your backlight is facing towards you, and the backdrop light is facing away from you. So one is shining on the back wall, and like I said, I don't have a backlight. I only have a backdrop light today. So, and then, oh, you might have to make that age restriction right after that comment.
That was funny, Leslie.
That is funny. And then you should make your diagram downloadable so you can gather people's emails, something to teach they should do if you haven't already. Well, Leslie, you're going to have to help me out with that. Let's talk after the show. Oh, yes. Can you show the fixtures you bought at Home Depot so people know what to look for? You bet. Let's do that. Here, I'm going to stop screen sharing again. Or I'm not screen sharing. I'm in Comment Tracker. There we go. Okay, so here's one of the lights that I've got. And the drawings are literally based on these lights. So this is one of the lights that I have. Very simple. These come in either with a base like this one, or you can also get this light with a clamp. So you can clamp it on the edge of your desk, or you can put it on something, whatever. And that is working as my spotlight right up there. It's just on a little pedestal and shining straight towards my face. The other one, I don't know if I'm going to be able to... Here, I'm going to do this, because I want to show this one. It also shows up in the drawing, but I've strapped it to the back of my chair. There you go. It's just an LED construction light, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I've just strapped it to the back of my chair so that it works as my backlight or my backdrop light,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of highlights what's behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So, very simple things. The one that's on the back of my chair was about $35. These ones are about $8 to $10. The white one that I showed you. I highly recommend that you either go with LED lights. Now, if your space is small, definitely LED lights because they won't get too hot. Jen is in a fairly large room, so she could do anything she wants lighting-wise.
Mm-hmm.
But you either want LED or halogen.
Right.
That's going to look best on the video. Do not
Mm-hmm.
try and use a bright fluorescent, compact fluorescent especially, because you're just going to turn yellow.
Right.
And you're going to look pretty freaking sick. So,
Yeah.
Unless what you're trying to do for some reason, if you're like, trying to move jaundice medicine on your videos, then you may want to have, anyway.
Well, on the lighting part of it, talking about LEDs, one of my clients is a lighting specialist, and here in Utah, and they have an online store, but they have LED lights, and he was letting me know that in the next couple months it's going to be available to buy brand new formulated LED lights, and they're still going to be the efficient and awesome eco-friendly light bulbs, but they're going to look a lot different. They're going to look a little bit more like a regular light bulb, and inside it has these LED strips. Depending on how much wattage or how much frequency they give out is how many strips are in there, and it's a lot better than the ones that have like the white glass on top of them.
Yep.
They're actually clear and look like a regular light bulb, and they look awesome. I saw them just the other day down at his store, and the difference between the old LEDs and the new LEDs is really, really great lighting, really good warm, nice lighting, and not the iridescent kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's really nice.
Okay, so Mark asked, what is your wattage or other features of the light? I have some of the swirly save energy lights. What types are best for lighting? Those swirly save energy lights are the compact fluorescent.
Right.
And you do not want to use those for your video production. The kind of lights that you want to use are, like we say, the LED or the halogen. And you want them as bright as you can get them. Now, one beautiful thing is when you're buying cheap portable fixtures like these, you usually can't go very bright, and the brightness issue is the amount of heat they create. So if you're using a LED light, you can go a lot brighter. Don't sue me if something goes wrong, but technically they're not as hot, and usually it'll even say, on the package itself, this is equivalent to such and such a light, and so you can get fairly bright by going to an LED, and you won't have that heat problem. Yes, Leslie says worst lighting is a fixture directly above your head. Yeah, that's going to really look horrible. Especially if you're wearing a hat, then it looks even worse.
Yeah.
But there is a really cool light out, or I wouldn't recommend these for your house normally because they're kind of goofy looking, but there's a light you can get at Home Depot right now. It's like $17, and it's really cool. You can actually dim the light. Even if the fixture that you have is not dimmable, you can dim the light using your Android or iPhone device, and it allows you to turn it up and turn it down, which can be really helpful. They're big. They're like about this big around, but they're just fabulous, fabulous lights. Mitch uses them for his wife, who is a professional musician, and they do a lot of video production, and he's the one that introduced them to me. They're like $16, and they just have this, they look like a floodlight, an old floodlight, only bigger, and that would be a good bulb for you to get, to look into, anyway. for video production. You may not want to put them in the house. The ones that Jen was talking about are going to be fantastic for our homes. That's going to be really cool stuff. So
yeah, they're really cool. I did get images of them. I don't know if I can find them right now though. It'll take a while. So I did have a lamp above me, and I turned it on, and I think my face does look a little bit nicer. But,
yes, it does.
But yeah, it was dark before. So
yeah, turn off the lamp. I want to see you turn off the lamp and turn it on while we're paying attention.
Okay. Can you share your screen though? Because I'm standing up and down.
Oh, okay. I'm on. Okay. So hold on before you stand up. This is Jen with the light on, and now you're going to look at me for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
And this is Jen now that the light is off.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
It's a big difference. Okay.
See all the shadows on my face too?
Yeah.
When the light's on, there's not as much.
You do want some shadows, and that's why you want a strong light on your right and a softer one on your left. But you don't want as many shadows as Jen has right now. So, okay. You're off again, Jen.
Okay.
So you make yourself okay.
I can turn my light back on.
Yep, there you go.
Skip forward.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so Leslie asks, you're going to put together a list of equipment for your book, right? Yes, we will be.
We definitely can do that. We'll have a list of the different things that we need.
Different things that you need. Okay.
Did we talk about, are we ready to move on to sounds?
Yeah, let's talk about sound. So right now I am doing something that I normally don't like to do. I'm using the microphone on my Logitech 920C camera. And that's just because I'm set up for another video shoot that I have to do this afternoon that took a lot of time to set up for, and my good mic is next door. And my other good mic is at home, so I couldn't use my microphone. There are a lot of different options for microphones, though, out there. What you want to look for is a good USB-based mic. I like the Samsung products, but Yeti makes some really great microphones as well. The Blue Yeti and the Snowball are both really good microphones as well. The other option that you can go with is you can get like lavalier mics like Jen is using right now.
Yes.
And or even a headset. You know, I wear hats, so I won't wear headphones, you know, big size headphones like these ones right here, but these sound amazing. There's a little microphone right here. It's really close to my face. If I didn't mind wearing the headset, the sound is really good, but you know, that just, you know, not my thing.
Well, and let's talk about why you would want to use a lavalier mic or a Nessie mic or a Blue Yeti mic or something instead of why, like right now, if I unplug my lavalier mic, my iMac has a great microphone, but what happens, Dennis, when I do that?
Okay, so you end up getting reverb coming back in, so it picks up when so what would be happening if she unplugged her microphone while I'm talking right now, it would be going out of her speakers and getting picked up in her speakers and then being sent back into the Hangout just a split second later. And so it would be this recycling sound, and it's really, really, really annoying.
Yeah, so sometimes, and sometimes it echoes and sometimes it doesn't.
Yes.
But if you're wearing the lavalier mic or using a headphone and a regular microphone like the Yeti, like he was talking about, or any of that, or the great headset that he just showed, you're gonna make sure you do not have any of that echo, and it's gonna sound great.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to actually do something here. I'm going to change my headset. I'm going to put on this purple headset, and I'm going to show you some stuff. All right, there we go. And let's just show you the difference between microphones here. So I'm going to screen share so you can watch what I'm doing.
Okay.
while we do this. But okay, so you can change the microphone that you're using in the settings right here. Okay, so depending on what you have plugged in, you can try various microphones. So the third one down is telling you what microphone you're using. Currently, I am using my HD Pro webcam. Okay, now this mic is not currently active, so I can't select that one. That's a really complex thing that, you know, maybe in book 2 we'll get into some high performance stuff. This is the microphone that is coming through. So now I've changed my microphone, and now you're hearing me through the microphone on my headphone.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference in how I sound?
Yeah, I could hear a difference when you switched.
Okay, and I can't hear myself, but I'm assuming that I probably sound better now than I did before. Am I correct or not?
Yeah, you're right.
A lot richer and a lot better sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you can come in. Oh, I don't want to do my speakers. Let's see. Do I have another? Oh, what I can do here. Let's do one other thing. Okay.
Well,
so now I am on the microphone that is the one that is built into my computer.
Right.
And I'm going to guess I sound like crap right now.
It sounds really like you're in a big room. Doesn't sound too good. Yeah.
So you can see why it's important to use various microphones. I'm going to go back to my headphone now. Okay. So there, we're back to my headphone.
That sounds good.
So that's just a quick demo to show you the difference between various devices. And now, you know, I got my big headphones on and my mixing board, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
You're ready to DJ.
Ready to DJ, absolutely.
Well, and we can show them the difference. So if I just simply unplug and start talking, now, did it sound different when I switched mics?
Not a whole lot, but we are getting feedback now a little bit.
Right. Now I'm using my speakers from my computer as well, and so now you'll be getting feedback when you talk. And if I type or anything, that's going to sound bad too.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's much better having that plugged in and using the microphone here. Or it's actually right here, down here a little ways more at the end of this cord, and then my earpiece I can hear. So much better. Yep.
So we will put in the book a list of various devices that you can look at, and so that you can see what you want to spend, what you want to look at. And I myself am actually in the process of trying to find a nice USB lavalier mic, because usually a USB is going to sound better than plugged into the mic jack.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, we'll keep working on that list. And I think what we should do, Jen, is probably make it a list that's on the website so we can update it over time.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Instead of just putting it in the book, and then they can go from the book over. So.
Well, yeah, they can have the book, and then you'll have it real time on the site.
Yeah, because things change, you know. Yeti could all of a sudden come out with a new mic that just kills everything, and you know, voila, now nothing else matters.
Right.
Okay, so we also camera. Oh, we wanted to talk about cameras, but I'm thinking we're going to need to talk about soundboards and cameras next week. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, that's probably better to go over that next week. Yeah.
Okay. So we will continue with soundboards, cameras. We're going to talk about bringing in guests. We may get to promotion of your Hangout on Air. We're going to talk about graphics next week, and so we'll continue. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the link from the event, and I'm going to go back over here. And here you go, guys. Oh, that's the wrong event. Okay, let's see. Here, this is the one you guys are all chatting in. I'm going to share you all the link, and you can come join us and tell us what you think so far. Love to have you come join us. There you go. So that's open to you. come on in and tell us what you think.
Comment, ask your questions, and give us all your opinions.
So
that's the way to do it.
So I don't think we're going to finish next week. I think we've got one more week ahead of us, Jen. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm thinking one more week after that. And then we'll go into production. How long is it going to take us to produce? Like another 6 weeks?
We can decide. So here's the cool thing about publishing books. Amazon has a really great feature that you can pre-order books. So we could actually have our book ready for sale and have pre-order sale within a week from us finishing our Hangout. But then what happens is people buy the book, and hopefully, you know, we'll make bestseller list, and then we can choose the time frame, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. Then that book actually becomes live in that time frame, and everyone who bought the book, that's when Kindle actually debits their card, and that's when you actually get the book on your Kindle or on your Amazon account. So pre-order is really awesome. That's what I'm doing with my book today. It's a pre-order. So we could say as soon as our Hangout's done, the book will be ready for sale in 1 week. And then we would choose the time frame. I usually say 30 to 60 days. It will take us to make sure it's all edited properly. I've done a book as fast as a week. As far as the editing and everything, it really depends on how good your editor is, and again, how big our book will be, because this will be a pretty big book. So
yeah, this is going to be a big book.
So I would assume, you know, 30 to 60 days from the date that we finish the Hangout, we can have the book available.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right, I am so excited about.
We have someone here.
We do. Mark has joined us. Mark, how you doing?
Doing good. Just trying to stay awake. Actually, I woke up, but I'm dragging as usual. 3 hours sleep on this morning usually. I go to sleep at 7, get up at 10 to try to participate in something or another, and I'll go back to sleep in an hour or two. But
and just notice how good Mark sounds.
He does sound good.
That's what happens when you have the right equipment. And Mark is in the music industry, so.
Well, I got help with this one, Dennis. I had a good friend of mine that dialed it in, and without their help, I wouldn't have been able to do this. But yes, I did go out and buy some nice equipment.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good night.
Yeah, I'm jealous now. Now I want all your toys.
Well, I need lighting. I need a bunch of stuff, so it'll come though.
Yes.
I kind of got off on this morning's topics. It was good topics, stuff I need to learn, so it's kind of cool.
Yep.
Lighting is something. I like that idea of the diagram. That's because I was trying to look at it as real small, you know, get something big enough to really go over it and then cover that really well in the book. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So what are you guys going to do? You're going to do a kind of like screens? In other words, you're going to do screenshots in the book and then do text in between, or is
for sure they'll have some pictures for sure. Visual is very good.
Very cool. And it's going to be a Kindle book, so you could tie your links in and have it go back to the videos. That's kind of cool. Yes.
Yeah.
That's neat. And I think I've seen a few books that are, you know, more traditional books, and then they kind of tie it in, but not really maximize that much. And I think you guys have a lot of potential to kind of maximize that whole thing of links back to the net and really kind of highlight that a little bit more. I think would be kind of cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it will be in print version as well, but the Kindle version will be a lot easier to read because you can click and get more information.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be kind of neat to see that because like I said, I don't think many people are maximizing it. It's interesting to see all the technology we have, and then the ability or inability, I guess is a better word of saying, of people's lack of understanding and knowledge to be able to maximize what they've got with the resources. That's kind of in my mind is thinking, how can I can do that? That's why I want to try to hang around Mr. Dennis DUCE over here.
Yeah, Mark and I have been playing around. Who knows what'll happen, but I have a feeling we are going to be crossing swords and doing some projects together sooner than later.
I've fallen some resources, Dennis, recently. I've got a buddy of mine that's a dog trainer in nearby me. And it wasn't the reason I started to think about the dogs, but it was something I reached out to try to accent what I want to do with that. And he's levels above what a lot of people are doing on Google+. Google Plus has the resources, but they don't have what LA has, which is he's getting together with mastermind classes, and he's written several books. He's maximizing digital media and digital media marketing. A lot like Jen is accenting with teaming up with you and what that's going on. It's really interesting, and it's going to be a really neat wave to jump on if I can get in his group. He's been feeding me a bunch of stuff. Are you on Facebook, Dennis?
Yes, I'm on Facebook, and Jen's on Facebook even more than I am.
I'll send you a link, and he's a dog trainer by trade, but he's really jumped ahead with his business and digital media using it. He's got a podcast called The Fearless. His name is, let me get the link. I'll put it in here. You guys would get off on this. So I'm going to be tagging in with him and trying to join him as much as I can as we build our relationship. Don't piss him off. We'll be fine. Let me see.
And we can, while you're getting that, we can welcome, we have Thomas here as well.
Yes, glad to have Thomas back.
And it's late at night there. Your Wednesday's over. How was your Wednesday?
Fine, it was good.
Good.
It's morning here. It's
morning now. You're already Thursday. It's like 16 hours ahead or something. Yeah, Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Wow.
So they just started a little series, and they're doing videos with it in post-production type videos, and they're doing some kind of seminars coming up in San Diego that they're going to be joining, a large one. And one of the experts they just unveiled, they did an interview with yesterday. It was awesome, and her name is Jessie Schwartzberg. And Jessie does major events and has all kinds of names she's dropping in this video. So I'll give it to you now, and you'll get to see his page. But it's really a cool thing to be able to maybe have this kind of access to stuff going on around me.
That's great. I'm going to be seeing Jessie this weekend. I'm really excited. I like her.
Seminar in San Diego?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're talking about.
It's going to be great.
So they're interviewing her, and they've been on the stage with her several times, and all kinds of presentations.
Yeah, Andy's a really awesome guy. I really like him.
You've met Andy then?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
It's a small world, Dennis. You got to be careful what you say.
And he is really excellent on all of that kind of stuff. He's really good, expert on all of that. Yeah.
Well, I've been training dogs since I was 12, so me and Andy have ran across each other. In fact, 10 years ago, before I fell into the job I've got now that's strapped me down for 10 years, I was working with him. In and around his facility and had my dog that was out there, and then my dog recently passed away. So I'm getting released from my burdens of the job, and I'm going out to the risk of the open market here pretty quick. So it should be yeah.
That's good, though. You'll have to. I'm sure you can get another dog soon.
Oh, the puppy's coming. I'm building
it. Oh, there you go.
I'm already running on it, that's for sure. And then I fell on Andy, and I'm going, this guy's 2 years ahead of me. He's been doing it. I've been sitting here wishing and hoping and dreaming. This man's doing it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's neat.
So, Mark, let me ask you this. Tell us if you were to want to put a testimonial in the back of the book based on the information you learned today, what was the thing that was most helpful that Jen and I talked about in today's segment?
Today's segment was lighting. Was lighting that you guys accenting the way to proper setup of lighting, talking about how to set up your lighting and how that accents your image on the screen. And that's where I came in. I was a little late in the show. I'll go back and play back the first, so I may have missed something.
Great. Good. Glad we could help you out with some lighting information. Thomas, this is your second time joining us, and we got some really nice things from you last time, but what struck you today as being helpful?
Didn't hear the questions. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. What struck you today as being helpful from today's Hangout?
Again, I put a comment. I'm not sure if you read it. It said, like, here we are on YouTube, Dennis and Jen and Mark, YouTube is like being in a film where you like lights, camera, and action, and then you roll and present yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Dennis, I had a point when you were doing the screen share of the lighting just at near the end. I couldn't see what you were showing.
Yeah, I was screen sharing Jenn instead of.
I made an offhanded comment about that. You probably read it by now.
Yeah. Everybody said, you know, even though it wasn't helpful, Jenn is more attractive than your graphic. So.
Much nicer to look at, Jen, than look at it.
Oh, thank you.
It's all good.
Well, and that's what's awesome about a Hangout is at the very beginning everyone knows it's live. So when little things happen like that, it's all good because it's live, and that's the same as when there's live production of any TV show or movie. So
I was getting a little bit off topic with talking about Hangouts. I was watching a Hangout that was put out last week, and I won't say what it was about or who it was, but the biggest thing that struck me as I went in and analyzed it was their promotion was done excellent. Their marketing promotion, they hit on every soft, fuzzy spot you could think of, and it was really well done. And I went to go watch it, and then I looked for it for the simple fact of I wanted to feel what my perception was of this Hangout. And they did a good job, but it was a great classic example of what we have going on here is that it was overproduced. They were trying so hard, and with this format, what we're using online is you do that, you end up with something that's really stuffed shirts. It takes certain really good type of people, or I wouldn't say good type of people, but skill levels and interaction levels to be able to take that away and take that rough edge off of it. It was smoothed out. They had a whole room of top heavy hitters that were in the room that are well known on Google+. And then when those guests got brought into the room, their ability to be friendly and really warm with the room was what broke that ice and stopped that rigid. And it's a good example. I'll give Dennis the link later. I think he probably already knows the one I'm talking about. But it was interesting to see how they came at it and the growth. It's growing. This whole media is growing leaps and bounds. So it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is a different format, and that it takes some adjustment for some people to understand. But I like to call it professional unpolished, because you've got to have that human aspect in order for this to work as a format.
Yep.
And so often people come in and try and polish this the way we do television and movies, and the reality is, yes, you want it to look good. I'm not saying it needs to look stupid, but if the presentation is overly polished, we have been trained as people to do one thing. We go to a movie, we watch TV, and our entire being shuts down. In fact, it's been proven that people watching television are more dead than people who are asleep.
Yeah.
And there is no way you're going to get interaction if what you're putting out there is the quality of and the polish and finish of television and movies, because we're trained to go to sleep effectively. And what we're trying to do here is to build a following around our brands, and so it is imperative that we do this in a friendly, open, human-to-human interaction basis. And I think that's what you're talking about there, right?
It was just something that I felt. It was something that came at me from a psychological aspect, and I'm pretty good at picking up on things. And so I analyzed that. I got into what is causing this for me to feel that way. And you're accenting it right now. It does definitely take some thought in trying to lose that a little bit. And those that have been around for long enough on these Hangouts and have been doing their own Hangouts, most of them have taken off that rough edge. So it's interesting.
Yeah. Great insights on Hangouts. All right. Well, I think it's getting close to time to close down. I'm going to let everybody, if there's something else that you want to share, remember, I do cut these up into little segments, so if you have some little amazing something that you say, it will become its own little video. But if you, have a last thought, either Thomas or Mark or Jenn, love to hear those.
I'll just put
Yeah,
in another plug really quick before Mark goes. Another plug for my book, booktobucks.com. My book is about how to make money on your book, 20 ways, even if you haven't written it yet. And my co-author of this book is actually Everett O'Keefe, who is a great marketer, and he actually works with Andy Falco. They have a news show, and you'll see that if you go to Andy's Facebook page that we mentioned, or Mark mentioned.
Yes, so that's you. It is a small world. It's interesting.
It's a very small world.
Yes, it is.
We're all really good friends. We just don't live in the same city, and we all hang out all the time. We're just not hanging out.
Very cool. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, Mark.
I don't really have any end comments other than the fact that you guys did a great job, and there was a lot of quality content that I will be sure to be coming back to join again.
Great.
Thank you.
Yep, same here.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thomas, I love you, man. You are like a man of few words. I love it. All right, well, we will be back next week, 11:32. It really will be 11:32 next week. It's not going to be 11:02. Sorry about that confusion this week. And we'll be back for another hour and a half. We've already covered the things we'll be talking about next week. So thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for all the comments. It meant a lot to us. See you all later.
See you later.
You guys, thank you. Bye-bye.